Hey guys, welcome back to LittleLee and Rose. My name is Summer Noel, and today we are going to make a skin wrap for our tumbler. So if you are not familiar with this, it is where we're going to lay down acrylic paint and let it dry, and then we're going to wrap it around our cup. It's going to be super duper fun. Most likely you have never seen this in the tumbler world before. I had never seen this in the tumbler world. And this was mentioned to me by a member of my amazing Facebook group, LittleLee and Rose, Tumblers and More. And Kathy brought it up one day. We were talking about acrylic paints, and everybody had been talking about the tutorial that I have with the dirty pour and how I catch my paint on a canvas and then I make a beautiful canvas out of it. And she said, you can also catch it and make a skin. And I said, what? What is this special thing you speak of? So I reached out to her, and she helped guide me through kind of what you would do to make a skin. And I just developed it into something I'm going to slap on a cup and make it a really crazy cup. So I've been toying with it and playing with it and kind of finding the cool things to do with it to make it like beautiful on the cup, and additives to add and ways to decorate it. And I've come up with this way, and it looks incredible. And I have been promising you guys that I will get this decal put onto a tumbler, because you've seen it in two other tumblers that it's such a beautiful decal, and I'm in love with it. It was super fun making it. I've had it for probably 6 months, and I haven't put it on a cup yet because I'm waiting for the perfect cup, and I feel like this is going to be it. So I picked the color specifically to match with this cup. I was going to originally put this on the black and white stripe cup, but I didn't like the way the white stripes washed out the picture and made it hard to see. So we're going to go with all purples, blacks, and whites, and grays to kind of match her image. I'm going to move her out of the way real quick, and so she doesn't get painted on. I mean, I can easily print her back out, but I don't want her to get messed up. So we're going to move her off to the side. So I'm going to work on a 20-ounce skinny, guys. I really like this size cup. I think it's just a perfect, easy to hold, and people really like it. So what you're going to use, I'm going to use Seductive. This is an incredibly shiny, shiny purple. This is going to be a really glitzy cup in the end. So this is going to be a shiny purple, and I'm going to be using, and it's Seductive from WickedShimmerSupply.com, and this is Oogie Boogie, and this is WickedShimmerSupply.com as well. So what is going to happen with this one, you guys, is I'm starting to try to make this as easy for you guys to get the supplies to do these tutorials as possible, and I've kind of been working behind the scenes with some glitter suppliers. And we did a little beta testing on the last one, and it worked out so well, and you guys loved it. So what's going to happen is Wicked Shimmer will be carrying the decals and the glitter so that you can order them in a box, a special box set, and it will come with the decal cut out. All you'll need to do is seal it and peel it and stick it. She'll have that ready for you guys. It'll ship with your glitter, and she will be sending you Oogie Boogie and Seductive. So you'll be able to order like a little glitter pack in case you want to get exactly what's on this tutorial and mimic this tutorial, because you're going to see it's going to be crazy beautiful, and it's going to match that decal hopefully really, really well. I say hopefully because, again, this is the third time I think I'm going to be using it. All right, so what I've got laid out here, guys, is we've got the glitter. We're not going to be using that for a little bit. I'm going to put that out of the screen. I'm also going to work with white mica. So this is white color shifting mica. So we're going to use a tiny, tiny bit of that just to opalize one of our colors. So here I've got the color shift paint. I've got my paints already set up for you guys. This is going to be the Color Shift, a folk art. I just bought a small bottle of this. It takes about 1/3 of the bottle. I don't want a ton, but you can see it goes from purple to kind of like a purple blue sheen. It's gorgeous. I'm doing a dark purple. This is called Purple Pansy by Apple Barrel. This is the Walmart color. Then I just got plain old white. Anyway, you can get white. I've got a big batch of black because I want black to be our dominant color. So I'm going to do a big batch of black. Then I've got some metallic silver, guys. So this is just the nickel by Craft Smart, and I believe that's Michael's for the Craft Smart brand. Okay, so then what also we're going to be working with and mixing into our paints is a little bit of water. I've got my water bottle here. It's going to be about a teaspoon of water per cup. And then for the black, I'm actually going to add pouring medium. So this is acrylic pouring medium. This is a conditioner for your acrylic paint. It's going to help it keep from cracking, and it's going to keep it a nice flexible paint. So it's going to be easy to peel up and easy to wrap around. So that I will also link the pouring medium, you guys. But this is basically just a paint conditioner, and it's just going to help make the paint, keep the paint from cracking and keep it nice and flexible while you use. So you're going to just stir that in there really good. Then through these four, I'm going to mix in coconut milk. This is Nourishing Coconut Milk by Pure Beauty, Pure and Simple. The main reason this works is it's got dimethicone, guys. So dimethicone is going to give you lots of really cool cells. So I'm just going to put a little bit of dimethicone Let's do that one and that one. And then I'm going to do silicone treadmill lubricant. So these are all things that will condition your paints, but also add the cells that you'll see. They will form almost immediately when we pour these out. Okay, so now I'm going to put in a teaspoon, maybe just over a teaspoon. Ooh, that was probably too much. I should measure this out, but it's an eyeball thing. Just a little bit. You're doing this to make it more fluid and easier to move around. So just a little bit of water in each one, and then I'm going to stir these up. Okay, guys, so I'm going to get these all set up and stirred, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, I've got these all stirred up. The black one, woo, I had to add the pouring medium and a little bit of water, and it got so full. I had to stir that one so careful. Okay, so now we're going to go in, and we're going to do our fun little additives now. We've got all the dimethicone, that's from the coconut milk, the pouring medium, and the silicone treadmill lubricant. So I did either one or the other. So the black one has the pouring medium in it, and then 2 of the colors have the dimethicone and 2 of the colors have the silicone. That way it's going to give you all kinds of fun different cells. Now I'm going to take, I want to opalize the white. So I'm going to, I'm adding the mica, the white color shifting mica. The color shift will happen, you guys, once you see it backed, with the white backed against the black. It'll make this white shiny on its own and shimmery. It'll add like an opalescence to the white paint, but it will really explode with that black paint. It'll look really cool. This one actually needs just a touch more water. Ooh, that might be too much. Jeez Louise, the water comes out so fast. I should have a little squirt bottle. I should have those little things, they're tiny, like tiny eyedroppers. I should use that. All right, that's actually perfect consistency now. So it's slightly opalized by that. I'm just going to keep stirring. I want to make sure it's not chunky. And I might actually add a little bit more. Do just a tad more because we want it to really have a really cool effect on this. So this is just white, guys, and it's opalized, so it'll go like purpley against the dark. So I'm just going to keep stirring that in. The other ones I've got stirred up with the dimethicone and the silicone and the pouring medium. All right, so now we've got, sorry, I'm stirring it off screen. So now we've got that. Okay, so now we're gonna mix in our others. I'm gonna put the purple in the purple. So I'm gonna add Seductive to our purple paint. That's probably what, 1.5 teaspoons? Let's do a little more, a little more. So that's probably about 1.5 teaspoons. Okay, and then I'm gonna actually add to the white as well some Oogie Boogie. Okay, so this is just gonna start adding shimmer and sheen to this because I want it to be a glitzy cup. Okay, so I'm gonna seal those up and put those off to the side. Okay, so now what we're working with over here is, you can see I've got a little metal like baking tray, kind of like a cookie baking tray. So the glitter, ooh, that's pretty. So we've got a little cookie baking tray. These I get for 2 for $1 at the Dollar Tree. And then it's got just one of these paper, this is like a file holder thing. You put a piece of paper inside. It's like, I don't know what they call it. File protector, paper protector. I will link this, guys. I just get these at Walmart, I think it was. So I can send you guys a link. I mean, you can find them pretty much anywhere. You might even be able to source them at the dollar store. I don't know. I got these really inexpensive at Walmart, so I didn't really look farther. Okay, so that's what we're going to pour onto. So we're going to be pouring straight onto this plastic. Okay, guys, so this is going to be basically our painting board. And let me close this water up. I don't want to bump that. So this is going to be what we drop our paint onto, guys. And I'm using the cookie sheet underneath so that way I can pick it up and move it around if I need to. Because if you try to do it like this, it's going to be floppy and the paint is actually going to be heavy and it's going to go everywhere. It's going to be a giant mess. So you kind of want to make a little table here with your grading. I've got the paper down. I'm not working on the white because I know it gives you guys a heart attack when I work with paint on white. So I'm not using my white beautiful fur rug today, but I'm just on some paper to catch some extra drip over paints. You could, in theory, put a giant canvas under this and catch it, but I don't think you'd be able to catch enough paint to make a difference. Sorry, I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the screen, guys, just so there's less clutter here at the table. Okay, and then what we're going to do, so we've just got this is just, again, this is one of these paper things that holds a piece of paper inside. What's nice about working on these guys is because you leave it on here to dry, and then once it's dry, you can actually just stack them on top of each other. So you can collect skins and get skins prepped for future projects. Or if you do a dirty pour and you want to collect it and make a skin, but you're not ready to make the cup, it's fine. You can just leave it right here on the plastic and store it away. It makes a nice little thing to hold it for. Okay, so now we're gonna take these. I hope I'm explaining this well enough for you guys. I try to be thorough. So now we're gonna take the cup and we're gonna fill it with our colors. Now I want black to be our dominant color. That's why I mixed so much. I kind of want it to have like a black background. Woo-hoo-hoo. It's a lot of black paint. So I'm gonna pour some in there. Probably should be a little thinner, but I don't have any more room left in the cup to add more. Then I'm just gonna add the colors, a little zhuzh of everything. Just stack them in here. I love this color. It's beautiful, this color shift color. Oh, so pretty. Okay, now we're gonna do some more black. Because again, I want black to be pretty dominant. The funny thing is with these pours, everything you want, you never get. So most likely I won't get all black. It probably won't be very black, which is funny because black usually dominates everything. And now that I want it to dominate, it probably won't because these dirty pours are tricky like that. You never know what you're gonna get. Nothing is ever the same. It's kind of fun. Okay, we're just finishing out these cups. Got the purple. And the rest of the black. This is just a super fun technique, you guys. Whether it's practical, who knows? It's just really fun. It's fun to do different stuff. It's fun to stretch your brain and just be creative. All right, there we go. We got all the paint in there. Okay, so now we've got all the paint. I'm gonna chuck these. I'm gonna clean up just for a second, guys, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, here we go. I just wanted to clean a little bit of the clutter out of the screen. I brought you guys down in closer so you can really see what happens when we drop this and what starts forming. It's pretty incredible. It's very beautiful to watch. So I wanted to make sure you guys were honed in close to see all this. Now, you can just take this and flip it upside down, but because of the nature of this, I want this to go to all the edges. So I'm gonna pour it out by hand and make sure I swing it out and around to each edge. So here we go. I don't know why I always sing to you guys. I won't sing in front of anybody. It's probably because I don't actually think you're here. I'm talking to no one. I'm in the space by myself. So I start singing. Okay, so we're just gonna dump and bring it all the way to the outer edges. That way we don't have to try to move too much of that paint. Just let it just be there, already in that space. Because if you just flip it in the middle, you got to try to work that paint out to those outside edges. I can see that one is trying to go towards the end of the table, so I'm going to hold it up just a little bit. I'm not ready to lose my paint. Now, you guys, when you do these, I've been experimenting with these. So you don't want to get these, too thin. Because when they're too thin, they will actually break and rip when you try to take them off the paper, off the plastic. So you need some density to it. But you also don't, inside of that cup looks amazing. Can you guys see in there? It looks really, really cool. I mean, this looks really, really cool in itself, but the cup, it's beautiful. Okay, so I'm just gonna try to get a little bit on this corner here, just to help it out a little. I dab it on the edges, that way I don't have to try to move the paint all the way into those corners, but I kind of want to just keep this cup. It looks beautiful in there. Okay, so now what we're going to do, this is also where the tray comes in handy. We're going to use the tray to help us move this paint around. So I'm just going to kind of hold it a little bit with my fingers underneath to stabilize it. We're just going to slowly move this paint. These colors are incredible. Sorry, you can hear my kids. They're doing school inside. And somebody probably just stole something from the other one. Triplets are fun. So much fighting. Okay. Also, the nice thing about having it like this on this plastic is you can lift the plastic just to move paint one way or the other. And any paint that falls, you can collect and re-put back on the canvas. Whoop. There we go. So I'm actually really loving the way. I'm going to stop moving it around. Oh gosh, it's naturally finding that hole over there. That's funny. It's going through this little hole. I'm going to have to prop it up with some popsicle sticks. Oops, sorry guys. If you watch my channel, you know my arms are actually through the tripod because I talk about it a lot. So I bump the camera once in a while. Not intentionally, but it happens. Okay, so I made a little well there, so I can't keep running off the paper. Okay, so now I'm going to take my paintbrush, my popsicle stick, and I'm going to try to get some of this out of here and just put it along the edges. Now I don't need it to be, I'm going to cut this anyway, but I want it to basically be filled in so I don't have to pick and choose. I can pretty much just cut the edges off to make it straight to work with it for the cup. So we need paint to be there, even though we're most likely going to cut it off. So we're just going to fill in the edges because I don't want to lose all my paint off the edge of my paper, and I really like the way that it looks right now. I want to maintain the integrity of that image in the middle because I think that'll be a nice, the big gray area is where the main decal will probably end up going. And that one that's the color shifting looks bad as heck on there. It looks not bad in a bad way, bad in a good way. It looks really cool. Oh, I'm loving it. I'm actually loving the black on the edges because it's what's in the bottom of this cup is predominantly black with just like a little swirl. So, sorry, this is a little bit tedious. Ooh, I dripped right in the middle, but you won't be able to see that in the middle. Okay, it looks like we've got 99% of this covered. Just gonna coax it along here. So we actually did not have that much fallout paint. So we're just literally using this little toothpick. There we go. And we got what I wanted, guys, predominantly black. Now you can see there's little shimmers in here from all the glitters. These glitter colors are perfect. So this Oogie Boogie is perfect because it kind of takes on the colors that's around it. But I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's a lot of shimmer in here throughout this. And then we get the color changing. You can see where some of the micas have shifted colors as well. So the Oogie Boogie is a great mix in for that one. And then the Seductive, you can see it in the purple. There's just purple little shimmers in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try to get more of these cells. So all these little holes, that's all created by the dimethicone in the coconut milk and the silicone for the treadmill lubricant and the pouring medium, here we go. I don't think I showed this to you guys before. So this is the pouring medium, Deco Art pouring medium. So those three things will give you all these little cells. And then when you heat it, it creates even more. So I'm going to use my torch, and I'm on plastic, so you guys have to move very quick and try not to actually hit just the plastic. Just right over the paint. And that's going to bring out even more cells. So you can see cells are popping up now in places that there were no cells. I'm loving this color shifting with the mixing with some of the micas. It's beautiful. I even love this little splatter down here. So what we're going to do now, there we go. Okay, you don't want to do too much heat because you'll actually scorch the paint as well. So just a little bit to start popping some of the little bubbles that are in there that are created by these and give you those cells. And we're going to let it sit overnight. And now, should I? I'm thinking about sprinkling some of this on there, but I'm loving the way it looks. And it's got a really pretty, even love right here. It looks like a little sunrise with the purple coming up. So I think I'm going to leave it. That amount of little glitz in there is like perfect. I love it. Yep, I'm seeing it up close. It's perfect amount of glitters in there. So we're gonna let this sit. It will probably be about 48 hours because the paint is pretty thick. And by that, it's all relative. I mean, it's not like super thick. It's going to be fine on the cup, but it's going to look so good. I mean, look, guys, we finally found the perfect one. It's going to look, the colors match this incredibly perfect. So it's going to work. All right, so we're going to let this sit for probably 48 hours, guys, and we will be back. All right, guys, we are back, and this is dry. This took 4 days to dry, you guys. So that's why I was saying you don't want to have it super duper thin because you want to be able to peel it off. And if it's too thin, you're not going to be able to peel it off from this plastic. So like I said, these are flexible. You can leave them on the plastic and store them. You can make a whole bunch of these. If you're doing a dirty pour, you can just make a skin for later. So this is a good way to save your paint. It's gorgeous. I don't know if you guys can see it but the color shift is crazy. It's so pretty. I'm so stoked that we used that. The glitter is so sparkly. I had somebody come in and say, oh my gosh, you found glitter paint. And I said, no, we just added these gorgeous, super shiny glitters to these paints. I don't know if you guys are seeing that in the light, but there's like little shimmers and sparkles through this with the purple paint and purple and white different glitters. And then you have the color shifting from blue to purple on the color shift paint. It's absolutely stunning. Stunning, you guys. This is going to be one of my favorite cups. I can already tell. So what you want to do is start to peel this away. You just find a corner and lift it up. See, it just peels off almost like a fruit by the foot. Like when we were kids, we had the fruit roll-ups. Now I tried to peel this yesterday just to give it a test, and it was really sticking, which means it was not quite dry. And today it's moving a lot easier. So you can see it's just peeling off. You want to go slow and steady because you don't want to tear it. But if you do tear it, just super glue it together and salvage it. So you can see each side. Oop, we're starting to get a little stick there. Don't stick. Don't stick. Okay. So now I'm sticking down a little bit right there. Just peel it up and help it go. See, that might be a little spot that is still slightly wet, but it's so thick it's not going to tear through. Oh, good. Okay. Just go slow and steady. I'm going to start now trying maybe to go from the other side. I'm doing this live with you guys instead of on high speed because it is the first one I've shown you guys of this, and I want to make sure you understand what we're doing here. So now the person who told me about this technique, Kathy, amazing in my group, she does this on freezer paper, guys. And so if you have freezer paper, that works. I actually have freezer paper, but I also had these plastic sheets, and when I measured, I realized the plastic sheet was the exact size that I needed for my cup. So I thought that this would be a good option for me to just work on these plastic sheets. And it works just like the freezer paper, guys. But this is like, just gives you the exact sizing that you need. And this is a little bit more durable than freezer paper as well. But if you don't have, freezer paper and wax paper and parchment paper are all different things, guys. So make sure you're getting the right thing. Sorry, I'm just doing this very carefully because I don't want it to tear. So I'm just kind of helping it along, coaching it out. Okay, so you can see that there is definitely still a spot that has some moisture in it. It's where it wanted to stick on the paper right here. It does feel dry to the touch, but just for safety's sake, I'm gonna let this sit. But look how, so you guys, you can choose which side you wanna use. They have totally different looks. This is gonna be the side that's gonna have all the cells and all the cool little details from the cells happening from that dimethicone. And this side is gonna have more of a glossy, smooth look, and it won't show any cells. So you can kind of decide which side you like the best and go with that side. I'm of course gonna go, well, this is gorgeous with that big color shift right in the middle. Oh, that's gonna be a tough one because this has the big puddle of color shift on there. Maybe I'll put my sticker and my decal up to it and you can see the color shift through here in the blues. There's a lot of beautiful, and oh, the glitter. It's very, very pretty on this side too, you guys. It's gonna be a tough call. I'll probably just play with my decal over the top and lay her on it and see which side is gonna look better for her and then go with that side. But ultimately, I feel like I'm gonna choose this side because it's so pretty. All right, so I'm gonna actually leave this side up, give it probably another 12 hours and we'll be back because I was gonna show you guys how to attach this, but One, I can't decide which side I like better. And two, I want to make sure that's completely dry because we don't want to put epoxy on anything that has any kind of moisture in it because you will get a weird fogginess in your epoxy. All right, guys, so we will be back. All right, guys, for the next step of this cup, we are going to wrap this cup. So the skin is now dry. I've got it peeled completely off. And I've got my cup base painted purple. The reason I base painted it purple is because I'm going to cover the bottom in the purple glitter, the Seductive. So it's the same purple glitter that I sprinkled through right here that you're seeing the shimmer come through in the paint. It's super pretty. And so I'm going to do the whole base on that because we're just going to wrap this around the sides. And so then I want the top, I want the bottom to be glittered. So actually, we'll probably glitter the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to set that off to the side for now. We're going to move some of this out of the way here. And we'll eventually use our little cutting tool for this. So I just wanted to show you guys how beautiful it looks. So I went through and I just kind of decided, I almost decided to stick with this side and have her face be right in the middle of this big color shifting area. Because the outside of that is so pretty. Oh, you guys, now maybe I'm changing my mind. It's so pretty. But this side is just it's so gorgeous in this side too. And I love this little bit of purple coming through here. I like the swirl on this. So I do think I'm officially going to choose this side. So I'm going to put this on with this side up. And then I'm going to focus on making sure I put the face right here in the silver because this is going to be our biggest patch where you're going to be able to see her face. And that way I don't want to cover up this really gorgeous area right here. And all this, all the color shift is down in the corners over here and here. So this is a good area to just stick her face so she's not blocking any of that. Her feather will block a little bit, but I'm going to try to lay her in to where the feather comes through right here, and this will still show, and this will still show. So we're just going to kind of strategically place that, guys. So I'm going to put my skin just off to the side here, and we are going to get the cup and get it ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to Mod Podge it on just like you would fabric. We're actually going to even overlay it just like I would my fabric. If you have not watched fabric tutorial from me, whoa, that came out faster than I expected. You can jump on and watch my fabric tutorial, but you can also just see me do it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this cup up and I'm going to Mod Podge all over the cup. It's nothing fancy. I normally would put you on high speed, but this is not going to take me long at all. I'm just going to slop it on there. You can get it all over because, like I said, we're going to glitter the rest. That's why I base colored it, so it would match the glitter color. That's just plain old spray paint, guys. It's nothing fancy. Just purple spray paint. Okay, so now we've got that all done. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay, we're going to put the Mod Podge off to the side. Put my brush off to the side. And then I'm going to bring this in. And I want to make sure that the top of my cup is right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the middle. This is almost exactly like how I do my fabric cups, guys. I'm laying it in the middle. I have a little extra going over the top and the bottom. Then I'm just going to bring it up and wrap it and pull it tight. Make sure it's nice and smooth down, just like you would your fabric. And work your way around the cup. Don't let there be lumps and bumps. Just smooth and slow and steady. Just work it around. It's thicker than obviously working with fabrics, so it takes a little bit more work. Then we're just going to overlap just like we would a fabric. I'm going to grab my paper towel here. Okay, what did I do with my X-Acto knife? Hang on, guys. I got to grab my X-Acto knife. Okay, guys, I have the paper down. This is just freezer paper. I have it down just in case I slopped Mod Podge everywhere, but it's going pretty good. So let's see. We want to cut. I can feel the seam is right about there, and I'm correct. So I'm just going to, I don't want to waste any of this. It's so beautiful. So I'm just going to do what I did in my fabrics, and you don't have to push as hard because it's a lot easier to cut through than fabric, guys. And just cut with a very sharp, this is my sharp, sharp, sharp X-Acto knife. Just cut straight down in a straight line and cut through. There we go. So then what you're going to do is this is just excess. Now don't throw this away, you guys. You can use this. We're going to talk about this in another tutorial. Save your extra skins. They are very valuable for other projects, and I will show you in another fun tutorial. Okay, then we're gonna back this up a little bit. Oop, the Mod Podge is already starting to get tacky and stick. And we're gonna peel this piece out. This was the underneath piece. Mod Podge is awesome. It's already starting to stick. So I'm just gonna pull that up because we don't want it lumpy. You could, in theory, leave it under there, but it'll leave a lump. So we're gonna put those off to the side. Then I'm gonna grab my brush, re-dab in some Mod Podge right in this section, just to make sure it has a really good contact to the cup. Okay. And lay this down. So see how that seam is like absolutely perfect. By doing it like that, by overlapping and then cutting, you get like a perfect seam. All right, so there we have that. Oh, look how beautiful this cup is. Oh my God. Stephanie, you're gonna freak out when this shows up at your house. So this cup, like I told you guys, is gonna be for one of the challenges in my Facebook group. I'm doing a cup battle with one of the members. So she's making me one and I'm making her one. So this is her cup. So I'm just gonna trim the bottom. We don't want this to get in the way of our actual cutting tool. So I'm just gonna cut it off with scissors. All right, so now we have that. Oh, well, okay. So these little skinny bits I'm not keeping. I'm just definitely keeping this piece though, because it is the perfect size for one of the projects I want to show you guys. Okay, so now we've got that done. So now what I'm going to do is let that Mod Podge cure and get nice and get this really, really stuck to the cup. Okay, so this is probably going to sit for a few hours and I will be back. Again, guys, when you cut that straight line, this is a brand new blade. This is my super extra sharp special X-Acto knife. I only use it when I'm cutting fabrics or like this, when I'm trying to get that perfect seam. And so you want to use a really, really, really strong blade. Ooh, there's an air pocket in there. Got to work that out. That's really funny. That happens. There we go. Working it towards the top and it's out. All right, so that's what you do. You just want to work your way through. There was a little air bubble in there and I worked it up and got it out. Okay, so now you want to go through that and make sure there isn't any of that on your cup because that will just be a pain down the road. Just pushing on it, making sure it's completely empty here. Okay, perfect. And so we're going to let this cure. We'll be back, guys. All right, guys, here we go. So this has been drying for quite a while now. Just a couple hours while I worked on some other tutorials. So now we're going to use this awesome, if you have not seen me use this yet, you haven't watched enough of my YouTubes because I use it in a couple of them. So you need to binge watch all my whole channel. But this is a cutting tool that is from wickedshimmersupply.com. It's the same place it's going to have the kit for this box. That's going to include the glitters and the decal. And the color shifting paint, guys. So it'll have just enough to do 1 cup's worth for the color shifting paint and then seductive. And, oh, I can't think of the white one that I used. But Corey knows at Wicked Shimmer, so she's got it all. So that will be in the pack as well as the decal. So it's like a one-stop shop to be able to replicate this cup, really. But she sells these. So you can use the coupon code LittleLee, all in caps, at her shop. And I highly recommend getting this. This is really, really good for cutting a perfect edge on your fabric, or if you put a decal on the cup and you want it edged, you can actually edge and get a perfect line. If you put your electrical tape on here, you can also edge it and get a perfect line by sticking it on here and doing this with your electrical tape. So this is what we've got here. We're just gonna stick it on here. This is a razor blade that's been mounted to a plate. So you press down and spin. So I reduced mine. I wanted it to be a very, very thin line. I don't want a lot. It's going to be very mild. So I only took it down to 1 washer. But see, look, guys, whoop, and it's perfectly cut. Perfectly cut. Perfect edge. Perfect straight edge. And so we got the bottom, and we're now going to do the top. Actually, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna shut off the film, guys. I'm gonna add some washers in here because I actually want the bottom to be really thin, but I want to add I want it to be a little thicker at the top because I feel like if I only have like a millimeter of glitter along the ridge, it won't look as good. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. We'll be back. All right, guys, so what I did was I added one more washer. I just unscrewed this. It's totally adjustable, and I added one more, so it's gonna be a little bit higher up because I wanna be able to glitter just a little bit of a rim to add the bling from my girl, Stephanie. Mainly because I wanna kick her butt and show her up. I'm just kidding. It's all in friendly competition on my Facebook, guys. It is just for fun. I like to keep the cups you guys all make me as trophies. I love them. On my trophy wall. Okay, here we go. Perfect, perfect line. So see how perfect that line is, you guys? Incredible. So what I'm gonna do is just very careful. I'm gonna actually tape this off and glitter down in here. So we will be back and we will jump on that. Okay, guys, you can see the cup now. So if you've never made a holder, this is what I have to, when I paint, it's just a copper pipe. You can use PVC pipe, and then I just a foam pool noodle on the end. That's what I use as my painting wand. Anyway, that's just a little thing that I use. So you can see I taped it off with big blue planer's tape. Then I sprayed the spray adhesive, and so this is ready to go. I just wanted to block, I didn't want to get the spray adhesive all over the blop, 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 my skin here. So now we're just gonna sprinkle on the purple. I'm not going to remove the painter's tape yet. I want to make sure that we get good coverage just in case I need to do 2 layers. Make sure we get all the little edges. This is just to kind of finish off the cup, make it look completed, and add just a little extra bling. So this is the same color of glitter that I used when I put it inside the paint as well. So it'll match, it'll just kind of accent what we've already got inside the cup. Inside the skin. All right, so now that looks actually really, really good. So I'm gonna let it sit for a little while. Basically just like cure. Just let that spray adhesive kind of dry up a little bit. It won't dry completely, it'll always have tack, but it will get much more firm and it will hold better. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna seal it all in, all right? So I'm gonna let that one sit there for a little bit, and we'll be back. Okay, guys, we are back, and we are now at the epoxy stage of this cup. I'm going to get the turner going. If you've never seen my turner, here, I'm going to turn you guys just a little. This is a little machine that I use, and it's going to keep the cup spinning. You need to keep, sorry, I'm bumping the camera a little. You need to keep the cup spinning because epoxy is self-leveling. So if you just put a whole bunch of epoxy on, it'll just drip off. But if you keep it spinning, it will spin it in a way to keep the epoxy on it without dripping, and give you a nice coat of glassy surface. Now, if you've never worked with epoxy before, most epoxies are mixed equal parts A and B. You want to use an FDA food-safe epoxy. If you don't know what that is, underneath this tutorial, there's a drop-down menu. Just click on the read more or the little arrow. It'll drop down a whole menu, and I will have a bunch of food-safe epoxies listed there. And they're all, I have them linked and listed. All the ones that I have linked are food safe to use for these cups. Now you saw me tape off and glitter. So I removed the tape, exposed this. Then I just took clear spray paint, triple thick. It's called triple thick. It's a really nice thick clear spray paint. And I sprayed it on the edge and on the bottom, and that's going to keep that glitter in place so it doesn't move all over the cup when I epoxy. So now I have my part A and my part B. I'm going to mix them together. I mixed a little tiny bit more than I probably need because I've got 1 cup I need to do a hang method on, so I'm hoping to have a little extra, but we'll see. So I'm going to stir this up. Now when you stir epoxy, you want to make sure you scrape the edges and scrape off your popsicle stick because you want it thoroughly mixed, and the little bits that are left on the popsicle stick might not always get stirred in. So I stir very vigorously so I don't worry about bubbles because I'm going to pop them with my torch. But if you stir slower and you use a metal stir stick or a silicone or plastic stir stick, you will get less bubbles. But like I said, I don't worry about that because I'm going to use a torch. Sorry guys in the background, I have triplets. And they're with the nanny. So you're going to hear them in the background even though they're not even close, but they are just really loud. So hopefully you're not picking up too much of that noise on the mic. So we're just mixing A and B here. Okay, so we've got it really well mixed. It will go clear when you've got it mixed well. It's kind of foggy when it's still trying to mix, but once you see it's gone clear, bring it up, see it's nice and clear. That means it's mixed well. Okay, so I'm just going to brush that off to the side. Then we're going to use our silicone brush, and we're going to apply this. Now, I'm going to switch you guys to high speed. So what I'm going to basically do is just dip the brush in and move this along and go up and down, coat the bottom and coat the top, and get it all over the cup. But it's a slow process, and you guys don't need to watch it in slow motion. All right, guys, so we have the entire cup coated in the epoxy now, what you just saw. And now we're going to heat it just a little bit with a torch to make sure there's no bubbles. So the torch is just going to pop any bubbles. You might not be able to see them because of all the activity of the paint and how much motion and stuff and visual effects there are in that paint. But if there are bubbles, you will be able to feel them through the epoxy. So you want to make sure you torch it to get rid of any of those bubbles. You don't want to hold the torch in place anywhere long. You want to move it fast, because if you don't, it will burn the epoxy or burn through and heat up what's underneath the epoxy. Now, what I forgot to mention, you guys, as I told you about spray painting the edges, but I forgot to mention that I did, in fact, coat the entire cup in the triple thick. It's a nice thick spray paint. It's going to coat the painted area. The reason I needed to coat the painted area is because we use the dimethicone and the silicone in the paints. Now, the epoxy does not like both of those things. So if you don't spray paint it, you're going to get a lot of holidays. Holidays are when the epoxy moves away and it leaves the spot where there's no epoxy. And it does that because it doesn't like whatever is on the surface of what you're trying to epoxy. So that dimethicone and the silicone and the pouring mediums will mess with the epoxy. So I coated the entire painted area with spray paint, which the epoxy does work with. So that way the epoxy will lay down on top of this surface. Now it's going to take, because of the surface was rippled and bumpy, it's probably going to take 2 or 3 coats. I'll probably put 2 full coats on it and then sand it. And then you guys will see that this whole process. We're going to walk through the whole thing. But I want to mention that you definitely need to clear coat spray with triple thick spray over the painted portion. Whether you do the back side or the front side, both sides have to be, you know, if you use the side of the skin, either side of the skin, you need to coat that in triple thick. All right, guys, we'll let this cure and roll for about 6 hours. Then I'm going to take it off and put it on my drying rack until we get about 12 hours, and we're going to see where we're at. Okay, guys, we are back, and what I've done with this tumbler now, I've done a total of 3 coats over the top of this paint, each time spraying the triple thick in between to try to get it to really adhere and not worry about all that silicone that's in the paint. It was very rumply and bumpy, so you can see it's all cloudy now. So what I did was I sanded it really, really well, and the surface is now quite smooth from getting it sanded down. Now, I knew that this one was going to be a little bit more work because of the fun and all the dimethicone and silicone that we used on the inside, but it's totally worth it, guys, because when you can see this all shined up, it's gorgeous. So now what we're going to do is, now that I've got a pretty smooth surface, we've got the beautiful glitter bottom and a little bit at the top, just as our little details. And the surface is relatively smooth right now. It's just really dull looking. Once you put more epoxy on this, guys, this will brighten back up and come back to its original state. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go in and we're going to put this gorgeous decal on. Now I love this piece right here. It's got this right over here has got a lot of glitter. This one has a lot of color shift in it. So I'm actually going to try to put her face right here. And so this is accented by this, like by the feather coming down by it. And so I'm hoping we can kind of keep most of this in there. But it's so pretty all the way around. Really, honestly, I could put it right down the seam. You wouldn't even notice. The seam is actually very hard to see because of the crazy pattern of this. So we're going to just stick her right here. Okay, so she actually has multiple little pieces. The drops are little pieces. So we're gonna focus mainly on the big part of the decal and go back and add those little pieces later on down the road. So I'm just gonna carefully lift her off of the paper. Like I said, some of the little pieces will stay behind because they are individual little pieces that we will add down the road. She's very fragile. She takes some time. You can't do this one quick, guys, because she's got a lot of little pieces. to her face. So I really try to not touch the back as much as possible, but this sticker is a doozy, so sometimes it's a little tricky. So we're gonna just start and focus on the top and work our way down. So usually I start in the middle of the decal, but there's really no middle here. And I just wanna make sure her eyeballs are level. So I'm gonna drop that piece down. Then I'm gonna push. Sorry, that's my kids. That's triplets for you. I told them we're going to the store. So now they're like, Mommy, store. I'm like, well, not yet. I've got to go film. Well, I put that a little too far over, but that's okay. So my whole planning on not covering that spot. I see, if you overthink things, guys, you mess up. I ended up covering most of that spot, but again, it's fine. It's pretty. That just happened to be my personal favorite spot, but everybody likes different stuff. So when you look at your pattern, you're probably like, oh, no, I love this other piece better. I just really want her to stand out really well. So then we're going to go back through and just really press her down good. Get that butterfly. Oh, no, sorry, hummingbird. Down. I specifically made her to basically go from the top of the cup to the bottom of the cup. Oh yeah, you can still see a lot of that color shift is going to come right through her image. I always have a set of tweezers, guys, because you saw there was a few little bits that were still stuck to the cut line was not super smooth, so there was a little bits, so I'm just pulling them off. And then you also use them for this, so. And then I'm just going to go and individually place these. And then we have the rest of the hummingbird's little body. All right, so there we go. So now what I'll do, this, oh, so pretty. Oh my gosh, I want to keep this cup and I can't. This already has a home. It already has a home with Miss Stephanie in our group. I battled her, I challenged her, and so this is gonna be her cup. That is so beautiful. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm super excited. So now what I'm gonna do is just to make sure, you don't really have to do this because what I'm using is waterproof sticker paper, guys. And I used a laser printer, so the ink is waterproof, but just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna go ahead and spray it all completely with the triple thick. Make sure I get a really good coat over it, all the way around, everything. And just one extra layer of this to hopefully our next layer of epoxy will be crystal smooth and we will be all done. So I'm gonna layer this with triple thick. I'll probably do 3 coats of it, 3 thin coats. You don't want it to drip or clump because you will be able to see it because this is gonna be the final layer. So we're gonna do, like I said, 3 thin coats of the triple thick to hope that makes one good thick coat as it dries and doesn't drip. And then we're gonna put this one under epoxy. All right, guys, we'll see you soon. All right, guys, usually I wear a mic when I'm talking with you guys, but I'm gonna just freestyle it now because I've got so much going on in the background behind me, and that mic is gonna pick up all that noise of my Cricut cutting and my turners going. It's gonna be so loud. So I'm just gonna talk to you guys normal. She is all done. I thought she was gonna need 2 coats, but I did one nice thick heavy coat and it is beautiful and smooth and it looks gorgeous. So I'm just gonna stop while I'm ahead with just that 1 coat, but you might need 2 coats. And remember, if it is doing the little holidays where the epoxy separates from the base, the paint, just do a layer of the triple thick spray paint over, guys, and then let that dry and then epoxy. That's just gonna put a barrier between that silicone and the dimethicone in the paint. But you can see just how gorgeous, I mean, that pattern from that dirty pour is absolutely gorgeous. And then with all the glitter inside of it and the color shifting, I don't know if the color shifting is happening on camera, but it's absolutely stunning. So this box and this kit, sorry, will be with wickedshimmersupply.com. You can use the coupon code LittleLee in all caps. Search for Dia de los Muertos or Day of the Dead on her website, and it should pop up. And that will have the glitters, the decal, and I believe the color shifting paint. And I hope you guys like this tutorial. I worked really hard on this one. I'm super duper excited. I've been giving little sneak peeks of this one in my Facebook group, and everyone is dying to see the finished product. But you see the gorgeous glitter on the bottom. So pretty. And it's the same glitters that I used inside the cup, inside the paint. And that's why you're getting these fun little shimmers peek through. And that's that beautiful glitter inside there. All right, guys. I hope you guys learned some good stuff with this tutorial. My name is Summer Noel with LittleLee and Rose. Give us a thumbs up, guys, if you like this video. Subscribe to our channel and come join us on Facebook. We look forward to seeing you guys. Bye.